Welcome to Alpacas and their amazing fiber. My name is Jane Clark. I am farmer and fiber artist at Cribbleman Alpacas and Fiber Art Studio. I'm going to introduce you today to our alpacas and the wonderful fiber that they produce for us. I've been a farmer for most of my life. I've raised sheep, Morgan horses, cattle, and Rhodesian Ridgebacks in the past. About 8 years ago, I was introduced to alpacas, and I knew immediately that that's where I wanted to focus. We have 15 alpacas on our ranch at this time, 2 horses, a Morgan and a miniature horse, 1 Angora rabbit, and 1 livestock guardian dog, as well as several other dogs and cats. Here are a few of our girls out grazing. In the evenings, they're in a fenced paddock where they also have shelter in the barn. This is so that they are not out in the pasture where they might be susceptible to coyote attacks. Here the girls are out playing in the field. What I want you to pay attention to is how they run and pronk. Pronking is when they start hopping and all 4 feet come off the ground as they're running forward in a hopping fashion. If you watch the alpaca with the coat on, then you'll see that she demonstrates this several times for us. There are 2 breeds of alpacas. The first I want to talk about is the Surrey. It is the least common of the 2 breeds of alpaca. Their fiber grows in locks that are straight, flat, or twisted. The Surrey fiber is soft and silky. It's known for its luster, its drapiness, and its softness. It often is used in weaving of scarves and shawls. Here are 3 samples of Surrey locks. The one on the left you can see has a flat lock. You can also see how the fiber parts down the middle of the animal's back. In the middle and on the right, we see fibers that have more twist to the lock structure. All of these fibers, whether they're flat or if they're more twisted, are going to be soft and silky feeling. They provide great drape. The second breed of alpaca is the Wakaya. This is the most common breed that you will see. Its fiber grows out and away from its body, very similar to a sheep. The fiber is short, it's dense, and it's crimpy. It feels spongy and airy. On the picture on the left, you'll see 2 alpacas near each other. Moondust, the Surrey, in the background is near Joliet, the Wakaya, in the foreground. Now it makes Joliet look much bigger because the fiber from her on her body grows out and away from her, which makes her look big and round and so on. But in reality, Moondust and Joliet are really both about the same size. They weigh within a few pounds of each other. On the right, you'll see Jewel. This is Joliet's cria, or baby alpaca. And you can see how big and fluffy she looks, even though she's only about 6 or 7 months old here. The girls have come up to the fence to say hello. Can you pick out the 2 Wakayas in this picture? There's 22 natural colors in alpacas, but orange is not one of them. The orange hue that you see on these white alpacas is due to their rolling in the orange clay. Marina, Martina, and Bernice have come up to see if we brought them any treats. You can see a difference in the color on their bodies, as well as a little bit different in their face structure, but they're all looking forward and smiling. In the back, you'll see Tamara, the white Surrey, and over on the right, you'll see the silver gray Wakaya, who's Joliet. Alpacas are herd animals. You should keep them in groups of a minimum of 2 and preferably 3 or more. Here we have Tamara on the left and Maid Marian on the right. They've been together since they were young animals and spend a lot of time together. One way that you can tell the Surreys is by looking at their bangs. The bangs grow forward down over their eyes, and I have to trim the bangs several times during the year so they can continue to see well. They have big, beautiful eyes. On the right, you'll see Maid Marian being greeted by one of our visitors. Princess Peach is on the left, and Moonbeam, or who we call Beamer, is on the right. The average alpaca weighs between 140 and 175 or 80 pounds, but Peach is actually on the large side at almost 200 pounds, whereas Moonbeam or Beamer is on the very light side of 140. In the back, we see Joliet, who's always got to be in the picture. But one thing I want to point out is her top knot. You can see the bangs on Peach and on Beamer, whereas Juliet's top knot sticks up because she's a Wakaya. Camera is more of the average size alpaca at about 160 pounds. In the picture on the right, you see her with her legs tucked under her body. This is called the cushed position, the common way that alpacas lay down. This is Bernice. She is full of personality. She loves to walk around with blades of grass or hay sticking out of the side of her mouth. On the right, you'll see that we've blanketed her. She tends to get cold on some of these more cold nights, so we put a blanket on her, and she's very happy to show it off for us. We have several mother-daughter pairs here. In this picture, you'll see Moondust, the brown Surrey, with Beamer, her daughter. And so you can see how similar they are. In the bottom left photo, you'll see Beamer as just a youngster. She's about 6 or 8 months old here, and you can see how nicely those locks are growing in. But you'll also notice that short face that she has. On the picture on the right, you'll see that she's matured at just about 1.5 years here after she's been shorn, and her face has changed considerably. This is Martina. She likes to smile at me. In this case, when I was doing chores, cleaning the paddocks, she was cushed in her stall, and as I would go back and forth, she would just smile this way and that way. She really made me smile. On the left, you'll see that she's in full coat that's being grown out for when she was shown. This is another one of our mother-daughter pairs, Martina on the left and Marina on the right in the left-hand picture. So you can see how similar they are with each other. On the right-hand picture, you'll see when I'm showing Marina at one of our local shows when she was about 1.5 years old. Notice the beautiful luster on her coat, that copper coat that she has. This is Moondust. Notice the beautiful mahogany color that she has for her hair coat. It's much different than the browns on the alpacas in the background. Also notice the difference in the silver gray Wakaya on the left and the gray alpaca in the center of the picture. The first time that you see an alpaca laying like this, it might bring you up short thinking that there's a problem. But actually, alpacas love to sunbathe, and they often lay down on their side like this in order to enjoy that beautiful warm feeling. In the background, we see Beamer just also enjoying the sun, but not laying over. On the right, we just have a nice picture to show the 2 Wakaya alpacas, Joliet and Ray. These are our 5 boys. Can you pick out the Wakaya? On the left picture, we have Hotline. Here's our main breeding stud. He has beautiful fiber that he passes along to his offspring. On the right, you'll see Prince Charming. He is the son of Princess Peach. He's about 4 years old. Here you've seen him after he's been shorn and just starting to grow his fiber out. There's 2 young alpaca males in the background. Here we have 2 young boys, Tobias, the son of Tamara, and Micah, on the bottom picture, the son of Maid Marian. These 2 young boys were born in late October of 2018, only 5 days apart. You'll notice that Tobias has a nice white fleece, but Micah has a beautiful golden fawn fleece on his body and white on his neck. Hotline is standing in the background of Micah's picture. This is Journey, the Wakaya son of Joliet, the silver gray alpaca we saw earlier. He was born in August of 2018. When I had him sheared this past spring of 2020, the shearer left his head long. It's called a bobblehead. You'll be able to see it even better in some other pictures. On the right, you'll see that he's in the cushed position, but he's actually sleeping as he's put his head down on the ground. These 2 pictures give us a great opportunity to compare the Wakaya and the Surrey boys. In the top picture, we've got Journey with his fluffy Wakaya fleece that if you put your hand into it, it's just soft and squishy and airy. And look at that bobblehead. Isn't it just adorable? On the bottom, you'll see Micah with his beautiful golden fawn locks that are soft and silky to feel. So although the fiber is different, they have very similar characteristics in many ways. Our livestock guardian dog, Kimchi, plays a really important role on the farm, protecting the alpacas from coyotes and other predators. Here, she's been playing with Naya, the Rottweiler. She also keeps the horse, Lady, or Morgan, company at times. But after she's been working hard, running the pastures, especially at night, she sometimes comes in to sleep. Here she's laying down with the 2 boys, 2 young boys. Now I just want to know, who's guarding whom? Micah was just born in this picture, and Maid Marian's looking him over to make sure that everything's all right. I don't think he's even stood up for the first time. In the bottom picture, Micah and Tobias are with their parents. They were born 5 days apart. Here we have little coats on them so that they don't get a chill in the fall weather. Boys will be boys, and they love to roughhouse. These 2 young alpacas have spent most of their time together since they were born, and they often hang around with each other. Aren't they just the cutest? I love these pictures. Look at the beautiful golden fleece on Micah, and notice how it parts down the middle of his back. That's typical of the Surreys. On Tobias, look at the luster in that fiber. That's something that we breed for. In the picture on the right, notice the cute little smile that's on Micah's face. All the alpacas need to be halter trained. Tobias and Micah were halter trained when they were about 6 months old. But Journey needed to be halter trained. So we used Micah and Tobias as examples while we took all 3 of them for a walk, hoping that Journey would catch on very quick, and he did. Alpaca care includes many different things. First of all, diet is very important if we want the alpacas to be healthy and to grow that beautiful fiber that we want to make into yarn. So good quality grain and hay, free-choice minerals, and fresh water, very important. Housekeeping, we've got to clean those paddocks, and although they are community poopers, they still have an area that needs to be cleaned every day. We also need to periodically check for parasites, as well as give them medications to prevent any parasite infection. Every 2 months, We weigh them and we document their weight to see that if they've been gaining or losing or maintaining their weight. We also do our annual shearing, and that is every April when we have shearers come to the farm. The alpacas are shorn once a year, usually in April. Here, Sam and his sister have come to do the shearing for us. The fiber on the back and the sides is the best quality. The fiber on the neck and the legs will be collected separately. The shearing process only takes 5 to 7 minutes from start to finish. This is important because it minimizes the stress on the animals. This is great before and after pictures of Joliet. When the alpaca is just finished being shorn and turned out, the previously shorn alpacas come around and check her out to make sure that she's not a stranger. Here's the fleece right after shearing. The fiber in the left picture is from a surrey, and it's only covering a small garbage bag. The fiber in the center picture and the right picture are from wakayas, and it looks and is so much larger in size that it needs a large trash bag. In reality, both the surrey and the wakaya fleece may weigh the same, but the wakaya fleece is going to look like there's much more of it. Aaliyah is our English Angora rabbit. In the center picture, you can see that I've started to clip her hair. I've left the bottom long just so you can see how much her fiber has grown in the 2.5 to 3 months between clippings. I'll now finish clipping this off. I'll use some of this fiber to mix with the alpaca fiber to make some really pretty yarn. On the right, she's really enjoying that carrot. This is where I do a lot of my fiber processing. After the alpaca is shorn, the fleece is laid out to make sure it's fully dried before storage. On the back wall, you'll see the containers where I keep the surrey alpaca fleece. Each one is labeled with the name of the alpaca, the year it was shorn, whether or not it's been washed, or if it's been tumbled. On the floor, just to the right of those bins, you'll see some large trash bags. That's the wakaya fleece. It requires a much larger container. On the far right, you'll see other bins, and those are going to contain fibers that I might want to mix with my alpaca, such as silk or wool or bamboo. The tumbler is used to remove as much of the vegetable matter as possible before washing. The fleece is put in the tumbler, and the motor very slowly turns it to try and get as much of the vegetable matter out as possible. The tumbler on the right-hand picture is one that I have, but I do not have it connected to the motor at this time. A swing picker may be used to open up the fleece. You can see in the left-hand picture that I have hooks on this to lock it because it's a very dangerous piece of equipment. In the center picture, you can see how I've moved the upper arm so you can see the nails and how they protrude. The picture on the right shows the bottom nails that stick up. So as the top arm swings back and forth, it rubs the fleece in between these two to open it up. This is before and after using the swing picker. On the top picture, I have washed and dried the fleece, and it's pretty clumpy, although I have pulled it apart some to start opening it up. On the bottom, you can see how fluffy the fleece is after it has been sent through the swing picker. I have two Strouch drum carders. The one on the left is the Strouch Finest. It's the one that I use most often for making my bats. The one on the right is the Strouch Mad Batter. It's one that I use for making art bats. In between the two, I have a container of mini bats that I have made of various colors. Some of them are wakaya, some of them are surrey. When I'm making my bats, I'll use these colors to add to the fiber on the drum in order to make the color variations I want on the bats. Here I'm using the Starch Finest drum carder to make a bat. You'll see that I use a burnishing brush to push the fleece down in between the teeth on the large drum so that they combine and mix well. On the right-hand picture, you'll notice that the colors I'm adding here are some blue and purple into the gray to make the color combination that I want. Here I finished making my bat and I'm taking it off the drum with a picker. As I take it off the drum, I roll it into what we call the bat that's in the center picture. Before I started making this, I weighed the amount of fiber that I wanted my bat to be, which is 2 ounces. So I usually put about 2.2 to 2.4 ounces through the carder in order to get the results that I want. On the right, you see that I have weighed my bat and I have 2.2 ounces there. Some fleece is always left on the drum, so I have to take that into account. After I've made my bat, I'm ready to spin. Here, it's a beautiful day, and I've taken my wheel outside so I can enjoy the fresh air and the flowers and the horses. In the right-hand picture, you'll see that Bonsai has come up to see what I've been doing. Although I spin some of my own fiber, I send most of the fiber off to local mills to be turned into yarn. Here we have several skeins that have come back from a local mill, and it's 80% Surrey, 20% merino wool, and oh so soft. This will be twisted into skeins and ready for the shop or ready to dye. There are many different methods of dyeing. In this case, I used a crock pot in order to achieve the color combinations that I wanted. Here we have the finished product. You'll see the natural colors that I have of white and off-white, as well as the natural browns or brown and white combinations. However, most of the skeins that I have are going to be dyed into natural or various colors of the rainbow. You can find these in my shop. Thank you for watching Alpacas and Their Amazing Fiber. If you have any questions, please email me at kribbelmanfiberarts@gmail.com, or you can text me at the phone number below. Please visit my studio at kribbelmanfiberartstudio.com. I do have visitors to the farm and offer small farm tours by appointment. Masks are required. Again, thank you for coming.